Good afternoon, third grade. Today we're going to be doing one of my all-time favorite collage projects, the Crazy Sandwich or Crazy Cheeseburger Collage. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is that you guys have complete control deciding what kind of sandwich or burger or delicious food item you're going to eat. But the rules are it has to have a top bun and a bottom bun. Whatever you put in the middle, that's up to you. Now, for my bun colored paper today, because everything is made out of paper, this is a collage, I'm going to be using this kind of golden yellow. Now, mine happens to be about the same size as the paper I'm working on, so I'm going to scooch it over to the side, and I like to draw out my bun before I start cutting. I'm not just going to start cutting. One easy way to make a bun is just draw a big old circle. Check that out. Cut it out. Now, I can use this paper later or give it to a friend, but what you can do is you can just fold that baby in half. You've got a fold here. Hopefully you can see, there it is right there. Cut that fold. You have the perfect top bun. Now, to make sure it doesn't roll off the plate, you can just cut a little chunk off the bottom, and now it's flat. Bottom bun, top bun. Everything you have is going to go in the middle. That's going to go on your sandwich. Now, some people get fancy. They want to put a plate down here. That's up to you. You decide what you want to do. It can just be a cheeseburger on a white background. I'm going to go ahead and get started with some of my stuff inside my burger. Now, I've got some brown construction paper here, and I'm going to use my burger patty. This is going to be at least a double cheeseburger, I think. Now, I don't want it to be too big, so this is my top bun. And so a nice burger patty shape could be like kind of something like an oval. Yeah, a little bit bigger than the bun because I want to have a nice, big, delicious piece of meat. And I'll draw another shape kind of about the same size because when you're making cheeseburgers, they're not always perfect if you get a really good homemade one. And so that is about the size of the paper I'm going to use. Also, if you're doing a bacon strip, that might be a really good way to do your bacon as well. So I'm going to give this paper to somebody else or put it back in the scrap area. You guys are probably working with lots of scrap paper, which is wonderful. I'm going to cut my cheeseburger patties out. Okay, now we're coming together. Now you have to have your collage so that it still fits on the page. You can't have anything sticking off the edges. For my cheese color, since I already used kind of a yellow for my bun, I'm going to use an orange for my cheese. And your cheese can be whatever shape you want. I'm going to go with a triangle. I'm just going to cut a chunk off here. Oh yeah, there's some good cheese. Now I'm going to start constructing it and kind of overlapping. If I am making sure that my burger is going to have all the parts, I'm always moving it. I'm making sure that I'm not going to have any empty spaces. So I have to fill this area up with other stuff. And I did say I was going to do a double cheeseburger. So I'm going to put another piece of cheese somewhere in here. I might cover the top of it up a little bit. So there's my layer of cheese. Now, if you want your cheese to have holes, you can grab a handy dandy hole punch. So if you're doing a Swiss cheese, slide your cheese in there and you can put some holes. Let's pop that guy again. Here, come all the way through. And it's just a way to add some cool texture to your cheese if you want to. It's up to you. Totally up to you, the cheese that you want to use. If you like tomatoes or bacon, a red piece of paper is going to be your best friend. So I'm going to draw my tomato shape because I want it to be more of an oval. I'll grab myself my little Sharpie over here, and I'm just using my bun for like a reference point. So I think a good tomato should be about this because I shouldn't see the circle because they're all sliced. I'm gonna add at least 2 tomatoes, I think. Okay, and if you wanna draw some seeds on them, you can. Up to you. Put the bottom bun back over there. Get these guys laid out. Now red would be an awesome color for bacon as well, and you could just use a white crayon to put in some bacon lines for some like fatty bacon, like, you know, a nice sizzly, juicy piece of bacon. When you look at some of the teacher examples, you'll see different ideas. Now, if you're not going with a regular cheeseburger, maybe you're doing like a chicken sandwich, you're gonna have to come up with some of your own toppings. Maybe you're doing a spaghetti sandwich or like a meatball parmesan. Listen, it's totally up to you. You guys are in charge of this. Now, my last thing I'm gonna be adding today is probably some lettuce and some pickles. So I've got some light green paper here, and I'm definitely gonna put in some lettuce here. Now, one paper that you might get to use in the art room is called tissue paper. So if you have any tissue paper that you get to use, you can crinkle that paper up and it looks a lot like real lettuce, and that's fun. You can kind of poke it in and put it wherever you want. I don't have any at home today, so we're just gonna do this piece. And I'm just gonna cut a little chunk off here, and I want it to look like a real piece of lettuce. So I don't wanna have any sharp edges, but I'm gonna make it wavy. Cut a little wavy line. So maybe I'll have a little piece here, maybe behind my cheese. Oh, actually on top of my cheese, I kind of like, maybe I'll stick it right here on this layer. Now, one thing you're gonna notice is I have not glued anything down today. Not one thing has been glued down because I don't know where I'm moving stuff. I wanna use all of my space and have a really nice size cheeseburger, but I have not glued anything. And I'm cutting pretty fast. Now, if you guys are taking a couple days with this project, you're gonna wanna glue some stuff on the first day. And now I've got a pretty cool sandwich coming together. So my job now is going to be gluing everything down. Okay, I might put another piece of lettuce on there, but nothing can go off the page. It's totally up to you how big you make it, but off the page, not allowed. So I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I'm gonna be gluing this down. You have some options of glue. You have a glue stick. For me, it's a little bit quicker if I use my glue bottle, and I have to pay attention and see what I'm gonna glue first. I think I'm gonna start with this bottom layer, and I'm gonna glue down here. Gonna give him a nice little line of glue. My orange cap of my glue always keeps sticking to my paper. I don't ever hold my glue up in the air. I just take the back of what I want, put the orange cap right here, and then I get a nice straight line. Okay, if I'm looking for a line. If I'm looking for dots, I can do the same thing. I touch it right on the back of the paper. And remember, if you get glue somewhere you don't want it, like actually I want to put my cheese here, just changed it, doesn't really matter because your glue is going to dry clear. Okay, let's see, I want a piece of lettuce next, but I don't want it to cover up too much of my tomato. There we go. Now your burgers don't have to be perfectly straight. I think I'm gonna do my patty next and try to keep everything in order. Now, what's really fun is you guys can add some toppings like ketchup and mustard. But if you're naughty, probably not gonna happen for you. Put my tomato here, cover this. Oh yeah, now we're coming together. And your burger doesn't have to be straight. It can be crooked, a little bit lopsided, totally up to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you if this was all done My name is gonna go on it with Sharpie in the corner. Okay, and the final step, you might get to use a little bit of ketchup and mustard. This is totally up to your teacher. Now I'm just drizzling some paint on. Now this one's kind of coming out a little chunky, but if your teacher mixes up some glue and some paint, they can get a real cool ketchup and mustard look. And you can let it kind of drip a little bit or run down. If you get it too wild, it's gonna look like the messiest burger ever and nobody is gonna want to eat that. So this definitely takes a little bit of time to dry depending on how thick your glue mixture is with your paint. I just used some craft paint. It's just tempera. This will definitely take overnight to dry. So you'll be leaving them on the drying rack. Please don't put too much on there because it'll make your paper really heavy and it's gonna wanna sink down into the drying rack. So I hope you have fun with these crazy burgers and behave. Yeah, because if you don't behave, you're not gonna get the cool ketchup and mustard on top, which is fine. Some classes will earn it, some classes won't. But I can't wait to come back to work and see all those delicious burgers, and hopefully they have some delicious ketchup and mustard on them too. Bye guys.